in this week here at Dellor, it's good to see that cricket is still flourishing at every level in Essex.
Very much so, yes, and it's particularly good at an event like this where a club's celebrating 50 years, which is no mean feat nowadays, is it? And they can put on fixtures all through the week, get players to fulfil them, and everybody enjoys it, and that's what the game's all about. I think we sometimes lose track of the fact that it's all about pounds and points, but we play cricket because the game's worth playing, and that's what it comes down to.
And although this is an over 60s team, the competitive level is keen, isn't it?
Oh yeah, we might be over 60, but we're 16-year-olds at heart. And that's when we get found out by trying to stool bowl. I know as a bowler I'll be hit for 4 and I think, right, I'm really going to give the batsman some grief this time. And of course it just floats down and he hits me for another 4. But
many people remember you from Grandstand and from on the cricket on the Sunday League. What was your competitive pedigree, so to speak?
Competitive pedigree as a player?
As a player.
Well, I've got a theory that people go into the press box and the commentary box either as an ex-international who are no longer young enough to play, so they're too old, or they were never quite good enough in the first place. And I fall into the category that I was never good enough and far too old now. So that's how I got into the business. The next best thing was to talk about it. And funnily enough, I was talking to my son the other day about the fact, because he's followed me into the business, and he said that when I was going off to work, and it involved covering a test match or going to Wembley to watch football, cover football, he thought, this isn't a bad way to earn a living. And well, it's a joke, isn't it? I mean, I'd have paid to go and watch the Lord's Test last week. As it was, I got paid for watching it, which has got to be good.
I guess, as you mentioned, the Lord's Test, and we're standing here right now. What are your reflections on what's going on at the moment?
The sad thing is, I wasn't really terribly surprised. These things go on in the game. They go on in all games. I mean, cricket is no different. Cricket reflects society, always has done, and particularly, that society, I'm afraid I wasn't shocked. Very disappointed, very sad, but I wasn't shocked. I'm not a virgin on a troop ship. I know that these things happen, and it is very sad, and we can only hope that the game is sorted out. Yes, it was shocking when the Hansi Cronje thing came about, but it happened. We have to get over it. If you go back to the early days of Lords, it was a den of gambling, and illegal gambling at that. And some of the people that were behind it now have their portraits up in the pavilion as being the great and the good of the game. But I remember a story about one single wicket game that took place at Lords, and it was rigged, and both players involved had been bribed to lose the game, and it was an absolute farce because both of them were trying to lose. And okay, it's not that stage now, and people say, well, it doesn't really matter the odd no ball, does it? I think it does.